Okay, hello. And thank you all for joining the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board's RCS webinar this morning. Just to let everyone know, cameras for participants have been turned off for this meeting, and this meeting is being recorded and will be made available for everyone on the RCS website. We will be posting the link to the RCS website shortly in the chat. So I just wanted to go ahead and start off by saying we wanted to apologize today. We understand that if you need to drop because we will not be able to give the intended webinar that we wanted to give today, but we will be recording that webinar at some point after this so that you can have access to those RCS corrections information, and we will be posting that link on the RCS website. Once we make that available, we will send out communication to all participants. But for today, my name is Anne-Marie Scarborough, and I am the Education Technology Program Manager for Map My Path. Unfortunately, due to illness, our presenter, Christina Zavala, the Director of Student Success and Research, will not be able to conduct that full webinar today, but she will be available to go over a timeline snapshot for us of where RCS has been and where it's at now, as well as she's going to address our top 2 questions that we received so far. I'm going to go over some extra ongoing support that we have for everyone regarding the RCS corrections. And then our product manager for RCS, Map My Path, and My Texas Future, Sarah Wicca, is going to actually give us a little overview of how one way that we leverage RCS data to help your students. So that is the agenda for today. I'm going to take this time now to pass it over to Christina so that she can give us that overview of our timeline snapshot for RCS.
Hi, everyone. So as you all know, the recommended course sequence data submission really all started with Senate Bill 25 when it was passed back in 2021. I see some familiar names in the webinar, and so I know I have worked with several of you on getting that baseline data that we actually collected in 2021. So back in December 2021, that was our initial collection of the RCS data. And since then, we've been working on a lot of the validation for that data. No surprise that first time for everything, there are lots of lessons learned, right? So since then, we've been developing error reports. Those error reports you should have received for your institution within the past week or so. And so following those error reports that we sent, we are in the midst of finalizing an improved reporting template and providing some additional instructions about the template that will be used here in the future. The good news is that this new and improved template is going to be pretty much identical to the same template that you would have used back in 2021, with just some modifications in terms of some validation steps that have been embedded within the file. We will be releasing more instructions about that here within the next week or so. As you all know, we've reached out to y'all with the error reports with your original submission from 2021, and right now we're in the midst of collecting corrected baseline data based on the errors that were identified in the reports. Following this next step of correcting that data, we'll be asking all of you to resubmit that baseline data. That's where pretty soon here we'll be sending you all some additional instructions about, the new revised template that we'll be using for that. One of the things that one of the questions that we've been asked a lot is about, will we have to do this sort of every year, resubmit the same information that we've submitted before? And the answer to that is no. So, right now we've collected the baseline data, which is pretty much going to be in a way our foundation for all of the data utilized by institutions. So when we think about future iterations of data submissions, what we're really only going to be asking for is, if you already have a recommended course sequence that exists for a program, but there may be some changes to courses within the sequence, we will ask you to go ahead and update and send something to us. Several of your institutions will also be maybe having some new programs, or programs might go away. And so in those instances, we would need to either remove a recommended course sequence or add a new one. So just wanted to provide a little bit of a snapshot of where we started and sort of where we're at right now. We have received some emails with some questions so far, and I wanted to go into that a little bit and just point out two of the most frequently reported questions that we've received. So the first one is that I know several of you have received an error report that is named the RCS LG GT 50 courses. So you could interpret that as LG being large group, greater than 50 courses. And so what exactly does this mean? So you're going to have to pay attention to several things, because there could be several issues that are going on. So the first one that I would say is, are you appropriately using the large group in the way that it was originally intended? So you should only be using a large group if you have more than 50 possible course choices that can satisfy a requirement. If your group has less than 50 courses, then you should not be using the large group category. The second thing you need to pay attention to is if we've established that you're using the large group correctly because you have more than 50 courses, one thing that we asked is that you don't have to put down every single course within a group. So, to further elaborate on this, there were several institutions who submitted, who wrote down the names of hundreds of courses for a particular large group. And we don't want that. All you have to do is just have one row for that particular large group. And we ask that in the group notes column, so this would be for the group data sheet, in the group notes column, that you provide a URL that we can then post on our side of things. So again, to reiterate, we don't want you listing out the hundreds of courses or even 51 courses. We don't want all of those lines of data, and we just want one line for that particular large group. So if you receive this error report, likely it is one of these two possibilities, and probably more often than not, it's going to be the error that will need to be fixed will be that you simply, provided more information than was needed, than can actually be fed into the tool that Sarah will be talking about in a few minutes. So that's what that error is about. Another question we've received is about the turnaround time for getting this data completed. So I, do want to acknowledge that we understand that we have a wide variety of institutions who have submitted sort of a broad range of data. And so, some have more programs than others, based on size, based on, institution type. And so, we've really worked hard to put together a packet, the one that we sent out with, additional clarifying information, some more details that we hope can really make the process a lot more efficient. And so we're hopeful that we do believe that many of you all will be able to make these corrections that are necessary. And if there's absolutely any questions about the timeline, please just reach out to us. We definitely want to work with you to address any outstanding questions that you might have. And we will absolutely do our part in helping answer outstanding questions and get all of your institutions to have submitted their data. And Anne Marie, I'll pass it back to Anne Marie.
Thank you, Christina. So for today's webinar, we're asking everyone to submit their questions that they have in the Q&A. We've actually disabled the chat feature, so you won't be able to use that today, but we've enabled the Q&A feature. So please use that as needed. The questions, we won't be able to get to all the questions today during the webinar as it's a short webinar, but we will compile all of the answers and we'll send out to everyone after the webinar, hopefully by the end of this week, if not very soon. But I didn't want to forget about some ongoing support that we have for everyone. So we have this email box specifically for RCS questions, and we have a team that's available and working to get back to you on those questions. Not only that, Christina, who was just speaking, has offered a lot of office hours during August, including one today that's from 1 to 3 p.m., where she will be offering these ongoing live support sessions where you can attend, you can ask questions, she can give you any help that you need regarding the RCS corrections. And so I just wanted to let everyone know, getting these RCS corrections or getting correct RCS data is really important to us. And one way that we're leveraging your RCS data is with Map My Path. If you're not familiar with Map My Path, it actually empowers students to get the most out of their credits and to track their course and exam history. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to our product manager for Map My Path and RCS, Sarah Wicca, and she will give us a quick overview of what that's about.
Thanks, Anne-Marie. Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah Wicca. I am the product manager for Map My Path, My Texas Future, and the RCS effort. It's nice to virtually meet you all, and I hope you're staying cool because it's ridiculously hot in Texas, and I don't understand why. So talking about Map My Path, we really wanted to try to help students close the amount of lost credit hours when transferring from institution to institution. So with Map My Path, we're hoping to help students, one, start the exploration phase of looking through degree plans, and two, also give them an avenue to get connected to your institutions and your advisors, so that way they can further inquire about how their credits would actually transfer to your university from the university that they are coming from. And if we can go ahead and pull that up, we're giving you a very tiny little taste. So this is the landing page for Map My Path. It will be a part of the My Texas Future suite of tools. And basically what this is we are trying to help students understand where they can transfer their credits to. So if you can scroll down a little bit more, some highlighted features that I really wanted to talk about is this first one, where you can track your course and exam history. So we are pulling in AP credits, IB credits, and CLEP credit equivalencies into this tool. So students will be able to track, hey, I've taken an AP class, hey, I've taken a college class at this institution, and keep track of their course history and say whether they're enrolled, completed, plan to take, all of that good stuff. And from there, we kind of take all of those equivalencies that you've submitted with your RCS that we've found through credit by exam on institution websites. and also leveraging TCCNS, shameless plug, if your TCCNS numbers are not updated, shameless plug to update them. So we're pulling in all of that data to really kind of illustrate, you can kind of see in this picture to the left here, how their credit hours could stack up to the overall credit hours required for a degree that they're interested in at another institution. So one caveat that I want to say here is we have all over Map My Path that this is not a degree audit tool. This is an avenue for students to really explore their options, decide which institution would be best for them, and be able to reach out to the advisors to get further clarification about how their credits could transfer. So if you could scroll down a little bit more. So within this tool as well, students will be able to look at the actual degree plan per se of the programs / degrees that y'all have submitted with the RCS. So with this, students will be able to look at their courses and see how they transfer over. So if you can see the little green area says complete, that means that we show there is a direct equivalency between a course or an exam that a student has taken to a class that is offered at this specific institution. And for those large groups or major groups or areas where students can select one class out of a group of classes, we have this little yellow section here on the left that says, hey, you have multiple courses that this could work for. So can you click and select which one you're interested in or which one you plan to take or whatever. So with this, students can actually plan their degree plan in a very high level and be able to work through the degree plan and move with it as they go through with your institution. Again, the big push here is that we want them to connect with your institution, to your advisors, to get further information and clarity about how this would actually work once they attend your institution. Yeah, if you could scroll down a little bit more. What we want to do is help students track their progress. We want to help students really figure out, okay, if I go to this institution, more of my credits will probably transfer than this institution. So I'm going to reach out and learn more and see how that could work for me. Like I said, this is a very, very quick taste. This is just the landing page, not showing actually what the tool is, but wanted to put that out there that all of this work that you're doing, we very much appreciate. And this will be one of the driving factors that goes into this tool. And we are hoping to launch sometime in a fall, if not a little bit later than that, late fall. So we appreciate all of the work that you guys do. And it really will help a lot of students in the long run. I'll pass it back to Anne Marie.
Thank you, Sarah. Really appreciate that overview. So that concludes our time for today. And I just wanted to, again, thank everyone so much for their flexibility and their understanding and working with us. We apologize that we're having to respond to these issues or these questions as they come up, but we just really appreciate everyone's flexibility and attendance for this webinar. I just wanted to remind everyone real quickly again about the RCS mailbox that's available in case you weren't able to submit your question today, as well as the ongoing office hours that Christina is offering, including the one today from 1 to 3. But just in case someone still needs a minute to get their question entered into the Q&A, I'm going to actually leave open this webinar for a few more minutes for anyone who didn't have that time. I'm going to turn off my camera, but I will let everyone know before I close out this session. So thank you all again for your time today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.